Guys, please confirm to me. All of you get my voice and screen. Those who are attending in online, please confirm to me, guys. All of you get my voice and screen. Good, good, good. Good evening to all. Good evening, guys. And that's it. Now, observe this. What I'm telling to you. Then, small schedule related thing I'm giving to you. Then already in the last class yesterday, I've taken some demo class for the members. No. And I want to give the schedule. Now try to recognize this. Just one time I want to give clarity on it, guys. And please confirm to me today any of your new member. Yesterday some of you new members you attended there, but any of your new member today, right? Yesterday not regular class, then demo I've taken for new members. Yesterday I've taken demo for new members. That's okay, fine. Now I'm asking anybody else today new member, any of your new members today, just say, then type a new on questions box. Right, in the questions box, just type new. If you are new member today, only today is the first class. Today is the first class. Yesterday, already one demo I've taken. Today is the first class. Any of you are available, just type new. On the questions box, just type new. Hey, Prahalad Kumar, you are attending, right? A long time onwards. Huh? Right. Okay, guys. But anyway, now just guys, all of you have patience up to 2 minutes of time. I'll give some schedules related information for all members and for everybody as per your requirement. You can attend these classes. No, right? I'm giving some schedule related information. Yes, exactly. So, right, sir. Now, then 6 p.m. to and like which one get 7 like 30 p.m. I want to take 6 to 7:30 p.m. I want to take like the session is like which one? No, object orientation. Right. Today onwards, I'm going to take this. Today onwards, 6 to 7:30 p.m. object orientation. Today onwards, we are planning it. This is one session, especially for the new members. Today new members and yesterday new members, and previously some people are attending 7:30 also for all of them. So 7:30 to 7:30 p.m. to right, sir. Now 8:30 p.m. 8:30 p.m. Right. The topic is like which one now? Introduction part. That means anyway then. And today I'm going to start like which one anyway? Introduction part. That is one thing. And the steps to prepare. First application. Then after that language fundamentals. Right. So these three topics I have to discuss there. Right. Then this is the schedule now. This is the first topic in our syllabus, and this is the second topic in our syllabus, and this is the third topic in our syllabus, and this is the fourth. Observe this clearly. Right. 6 to 7:30 p.m. Fourth topic to till completion. Of course, for Java. I will take the sessions there. Only these three topics I'm going to take at 7:30 to 8:30. Anyway, then all of you in the sense, those who already completed, yeah, no problem. Then even if you are not having any basics, no, I'm able to teach. No need to worry for that, guys. Right. And Shubhadeep, then no need to worry for that. So those who already completed these topics, just we can not require to attend for it. But those who require these three topics, all what I'm telling you know, yesterday new members, today new members, and previously those who are attending. That means 2 days back also those who are attending at 7:30 class now, you have to attend for that class there. 7:30 class. Today onwards, you have to attend for this. So today we can attend there at 7:30. but those who completed up to language fundamentals not required to attend at 7:30 to 8:30. Right. Those who are completing, those who are not completed up to language fundamentals, just we can attend today now. Right. So this is scheduled at 7:25. I will give a bit break, 5 minutes of break. I will give there. Again, I will reconnect this webinar, same link and same. Again, I will reconnect webinar where I'm going to talk about this. So try to attend for these sessions anyway today. All of you understand this clearly. If you have any queries or if you have any doubts about this, new members I'm telling there. For new members, if you have any doubts there, at 7:30 today, 7:30 to 8:30, I will take this session. So there I'm able to clarify all of your doubts. Meanwhile, now I'm going to start this object orientation, that very basic introduction part that we are able to understand it clearly. Right. Yes, Tejashwini, the same thing. I'm going to start advanced Java class there after the 7:30 to 8:30. This basic backup fundamentals are completed. Then I will start advanced Java classes. Anyway, guys, now then what I'm telling those who required, like what I'm telling these 3 topics there. Just you have to wait at what time there, 7:30 also, 7:30 to 8:30. I will take session and there I'm able to give clarity on it. Right. Anyway, now let me start our object orientation. All of you listen carefully. Object orientation topic. And before going to start this one, once again, please give confirmation for me, guys. All of you are getting my voice on screen. Please give confirmation on it. All of you are getting my voice on screen. Everybody has to respond for my question. Right. Good. Right, sir. Good. Now, listen now. Object orientation. Before going to start object orientation, I want to give importance of this object orientation. Just 2 minutes of time. Say for example, if you go for any interview in outside, maybe as a fresher or maybe as an experienced person, if you go for interview in outside on basis of Java only, maybe think about it. 3 years of experience if you put in your resume, and if you go for interview there in outside, their interviewer, for example, interviewer has asked 100 questions. Think like that. Interviewer might be asked 100 number of questions to you on total Java. You can expect out of this 100 number of questions now, you can expect 60 to 70% of the questions, 60 to 70% of the questions from core Java only. 60 to 70% of the questions are coming from core Java only. Everybody understand my point? 60 to 70% of the questions are coming from core Java only. Good. Out of the 60 to 70% of the questions from core Java, again I'm telling to you, 40 plus number of questions, 40 plus number of questions from object orientation only, more than 50%. Understand my point now? 40% of the questions we are able to get from core, that means object orientation only. So in the point of interviews, object orientation is very important, and everybody has to understand this object orientation. Object orientation is a minimum and it is mandatory. If you want to say myself is very good in Java, you must be very strong in object orientation. If you want to say myself is very good at Java, then you must be very strong in object orientation. Please remember this, what I am telling to you now. So in that way, object orientation importance is available in interviews, in the point of interviews. So we have to put more concentration on object orientation. And moreover, apart from that, what I am telling to you, myself, I'm having very good R&D work over this object orientation. So I can deliver more and more content in object orientation. Everybody understand my point? This is one thing what I'm telling to you. After completion of this, see, along with this object orientation, some other topics are also important, available. I'm not saying only object orientation is important. No, I said to you already, some other topics are also important. Exception handling, multi-threading, but you should not get this kind of coaching, guys. What I'm telling you, just personages is also by given that remaining personages are from different concepts only. Why we are having this type of question now? Right, along with the object orientation, multi-threading is important and collection framework is important. What next one here? And string manipulation. These are important concepts are available, but I'm not saying core Java in the sense only object orientation. Huh? Right. Think about it. Right, sir. Now, in the point of interviews, object orientation is one of the concepts. Definitely, more and more priority we are able to get, more number of questions we are able to get in the point of interviews. That is point number one. Second point, I'm telling to all of you guys. Point number two. If we go for project development or application development, nowadays majority of the applications are going on with the frameworks. Majority of the projects are prepared or developing on the base of the frameworks. Spring framework maybe, or maybe Hibernate maybe, like these frameworks. And apart from that, web services is also be getting very good demand in outside. Now, what I am telling to you, that the frameworks are designed completely on the basis of core Java. The total frameworks are designed on the basis of core Java. That core Java is totally running. The core Java is totally running on the top of which one? Object orientation. Can you give me a minute about this? Total frameworks are going on the basis of core Java. But core Java is developed on the basis of which one? Object orientation. If object orientation is not available, no chances of core Java. If core Java is not available, there is no meaning for our which one? No frameworks. See, understand my point? I can say one simple word. That entire Java world is moving on the top of object orientation. If object orientation is available, not available, there is no concept like class, there is no concept like object, and there is no concept like encapsulation, abstraction, shareability, and all these kind of features are not going to be existed. So there is no meaning for Java. Once there is no meaning for Java, then there is no meaning for like which one? Frameworks. Spring framework maybe, or maybe what I'm telling, Hibernate maybe, or web services maybe, or some different technology, feature techniques. Of course, servlets maybe, advanced Java technologies, whatever it may be. There is no meaning for that if no core Java. So that's why, what is the point I'm telling to you? In the point of interviews and in the point of project development, in both the cases, object orientation is heart. Object orientation is mandatory, is very, very important. Without that, we are unable to expect Java programming language. Guys, all of you are getting clarity up to this point now? Nothing I've given. Importance of oops I've given. It's a heart. It's a heart. We cannot see any person without the heart. So object orientation is heart. Good. Leave it. Now the next other content is like which one here? Apart from this, another content is like which one? Right, sir. What is the requirement to come for object orientation? Do you have any concepts before this object orientation, or do you have any alternatives for this object orientation, or do you have any system which is already existed before object orientation? Right. If you think about this particular point, I'm able to give some systems. What are the various systems here I'm telling you? Right, sir. Overall, not only this object orientation, then overall, if you want to prepare any application in outside, there are four mechanisms. There are four types of programming languages. There are four paradigms. Paradigms are types of programming languages, are mechanisms, are approaches. Everything is equal now. Is to prepare an application in outside, four mechanisms are existed. Four approaches are available. That means four paradigms are available. What are these types of programming languages actually? The very first one is like which one? Unstructured programming languages. First one is like which one? Unstructured programming languages. This is first one. First one is like which one? Unstructured programming languages. And the second one is like which one? Structured programming languages. Structured programming languages. Unstructured programming languages. And next one is the structured programming languages. And the third one is like which one? Object-oriented programming languages. Object-oriented programming languages. This is third one. Next one, the fourth one is like which one? Aspect-oriented programming languages. Aspect-oriented programming languages. That's it. Guys, observe this clearly. Again, I'm telling you, there are 4 types of programming languages to prepare applications. What are the types of programming languages to prepare applications now? First one is unstructured programming languages. Second one is structured programming languages. Third one is object-oriented programming languages. And fourth one is aspect-oriented programming languages. These are overall 4 types of programming languages are existed to prepare applications. Then immediately we had a question. We had a question now immediately. We are having a question immediately. What about my question now? My question is, why sir? Why already we have unstructured programming languages now? Then what is the requirement to go for structured programming languages? This is one question, right? Indirectly, what I am asking to you, what are the differences between unstructured programming languages and structured programming languages What are the differences between unstructured programming languages and structured programming languages? This is my question. This is one question. Here we have to answer for this question anyway. Right, sir. Similarly, I have another question. What about my another question now? I will give answer for this question. Just wait for it. Just another question. Okay, good. When compared with unstructured programming languages and structured programming languages are very good, accepted, good. But still my question is, structured programming language is very good, then what is the requirement to go for object-oriented programming languages? What is the need to come for object-oriented programming languages? This is another question. So indirectly again, what I am asking to you, what are the differences between structured programming languages and object-oriented programming languages? Object-oriented programming languages. This is again another question now. So we have to answer for this question also. This is our required question. This is our important question now. This is our required question. Why? What is the requirement to come for object-oriented programming languages when compared with structured programming languages? This is another thing here. What we have to understand. Okay, leave it. Now next one. Okay, good. As per our discussion, when compared with unstructured, structured programming languages are very good. When compared with object-oriented programming languages, when compared with the structured programming languages, object-oriented programming languages are very good. So finally, we are able to say object-oriented programming languages are very good. But my next question is, already we have object-oriented programming languages to prepare applications. Then what is the requirement to go for aspect-oriented programming languages? Then what is the requirement to come for aspect-oriented programming languages? This is my question. What is the need? What is the requirement to come for aspect-oriented programming languages? This one also here we have to understand. So this is another question here. We have to answer for it. So what is the requirement? What is the requirement to use aspect-oriented programming languages over object-oriented programming languages? So we have to answer for all these questions. Right, sir. As you are saying that 4 types of programming languages are available, then what is the requirement to go for each and every type here? We have to analyze. After analyzing all these points, finally, we are able to understand what exactly the importance of object-oriented programming and what are the benefits we are able to get from object-oriented programming. This output, this particular point we are able to conclude if you understand all of this content. That's okay, guys. Good. Guys, all of you are following my points. All of you are following my points. What exactly the points here are given to you? All of you are following my points. Is it clear? Good. And some people still they are in like a Ramjan festival mood only. They are not yet coming out. Please first of all come out and try to attend these classes now. Okay, fine. One festival is gone, completed. Next, think about the next festival. Definitely you will get next festival. But meanwhile, try to understand the content. Right, sir? If you understand the points, if you understand these concepts today itself is a festival. If you are not understanding today's topic, no, today is a normal day only. Right, sir? Good. Good, sir. Right, sir. On festival day, I have not taken the class, sir. The remaining days I have taken the class. Right? Anyway, now leave this one. Fine, sir. Now, now just the questions only I've given, sir. But I have not given any answer for these questions now. Now I'm thinking about answers. Now I'm going to discuss some answers, you know. Just put 5 to 10 minutes of time completely without having any deviation. Let me explain all the points. Then after completion of this, I will explain our doubts also if you have any doubts. Now, meanwhile, don't have any interruptions. Now try to understand this one. From question to question, I will give some gap for your doubts now. But first of all, understand this. Whatever the points I'm trying to say, let me complete the total answer. Then after that, I'll give time to you to ask the doubts now. Meanwhile, don't send any messages now. First, listen. Try to listen the content here. Your listening is important. First of all, let's come for like which one? Differences between unstructured programming languages and what next one? No, structured programming languages. Let's come for these points now. That very first one. Guys, I'm asking one question to all of you now. Try to answer for it. Yeah, now we can answer it. I will ask one question there. All of you are using mobile phones. Can you confirm to me? All of you are using mobile phones? Yes, strongly. 2 mobile phones, 3 mobile phones. What you are doing, sir, with 3 mobile phones? One is your personal use. Second one is for ABC. Third one is for XYZ, right? Right, sir. 1 mobile phone max. Okay, good. Right, sir. Good. Mobile phones you are using. That's fine. I'm asking next question. Which phone you are using, sir? Which phone you are using? At least give that your mobile phone information. Phone and Apple, iPhone, or Honor, iPhone, maximum iPhone, sir. Samsung less, maximum iPhone. I'm not asking about Android or any other one. Just Apple iPhone or maybe Samsung or phones information. Moto 1 power, good. Samsung Note 10 Plus, yeah, good. So nowadays people are giving much importance for mobile phones. Maximum Redmi, MI, Lenovo, good. All people are giving much priority for mobile. So nobody is using standard piece like Nokia 1500 rupees phone. Nobody is using that. Yeah, people are asking about my mobile phone. My mobile phone is no mobile phone, sir. Only tab, only one tab. Then where only I required red button and green button. That's it. Any of you are using the standard mobile phone, like which one? Not Apple tab, sir. It's okay, leave it. My salary is 10,000 per month. How it is possible for me to get iPhone and all these things? No. Just within 10,000, I have to survive at Amirpet. How it is possible? Leave it anyway. Right, sir. So now tell me, any of you are using that? Any of you are using that Nokia standard 1500 rupees phone? Yes, guys. Now forget about my information, sir. I'm asking to you now. Try to give information there. Yes. Might be. People are saying my grandmother is using, my granny is using, and my grandfather is using. Of course, your parents are also not using that. Your grandfather, grandmother, they are using, and you are anyway not at all possible. You are not using that. Not available market. No, sir. In Hyderabad market, they are available. I've seen even and 2 days before might be. Yesterday also might be. One of the mobile shop was open. I think so. Day before yesterday, I've seen that. Right. Good. Now tell me, why, sir? Why you are not using that Nokia 1600? No, now tell me. Nokia basic version. Why you are not using that? Now tell me. Why you are not using that? Now tell me. I'm asking this question. 2 older version. What's the meaning of it? What is the 2 older version? There are no features. Which features you require? Yeah, I can list out your features exactly. Like which one? Sir, I record WhatsApp. Without WhatsApp, I can't live. I record WhatsApp early morning. When I remove my blanket, just if I open my mobile phone, I have to open my mobile phone immediately. I have to open WhatsApp only. Okay, internet connection is minimum nowadays. No touch phone. Okay, good. Next one. Then apart from that, Facebook is required, sir. Without Facebook, no, it's not at all possible. Okay, good. Next one is which one? Then apart from this Facebook, no, YouTube I required, sir. So many things I'm learning nowadays from YouTube, social media. And more important, apart from all these things, nowadays one more app, sir. Because of that only I've taken mobile phone. That is like which one? TikTok. TikTok. Right, sir. Right. So finally, one point is very clear. So you are habituated with some of the advanced features. That advanced features are supported by which one, sir? Advanced features are go to meeting. Go to meeting or go to webinar. I'm using go to webinar, sir, not go to meeting. Nihar. Right, sir. Advanced features which are supported by newer mobile phones only, which are not supported by older. So, as per your requirement, newer mobile phones are required or not? Exactly what I am telling you know. Unstructured programming language is the same as your Nokia standard piece. So, which is not sufficient for our at present application requirements, which is not sufficient at present our application requirement. It is older one, it is outdated one, and it was introduced at the starting point of the computer science. Unstructured programming languages are provided at the starting point of the like application development. It's totally newer one, sorry, older one. So it is not supporting at present our application requirements. Understand my point now? But structured programming languages is like which one? No, somewhat newer one, newer implementation. That means new technologies and new products. Understand my point here? Where our requirements are satisfied with which one? No, structured programming languages. This is what exactly the first point here I'm telling you. Unstructured programming languages are outdated programming languages. Sir, understand my shortcuts now? UVS, PLNSS, unstructured programming languages, and PLSNSS, programming languages. Unstructured programming languages are outdated programming languages. These programming languages are not providing at present application requirements. These programming languages are not providing at present application requirements. They are not sufficient to implement at present application requirements. That's the point now. Examples, sir. I want to know what are the various examples for this now. Just I'm telling observe this clearly. Basic, one of the programming language. Basic. Next one is like which one? Fortran, another programming language. Observe this clearly now. Fortran is another programming language. See, if you observe these two programming languages now, like here now, Fortran is like which one? First like which one? Comparative programming language. Or basic is like which one? Sorry, basic is first comparative programming language. Fortran is the first interpretive programming language. Anyway, then either of these. Out of these two, one is first comparative programming language, another one is like which one? And first interpretive programming language. COBOL is next level language. COBOL, Pascal, all these are next level. They are somewhat equal to like which one? No, structured programming languages now. But before that generation, I'm telling that almost all first generation programming language I'm talking now. Basic and Fortran. All of you observe this clearly now. So these two languages are provided at the starting point of the object orientation. Everybody understand my point? So they are at that moment what exactly the requirements are available. As per that requirement, these programming languages are provided. All of you observe one point I'm telling you. Guys, I'm asking this question to all of you now. Tell me, what is the purpose why? What is the reason why? What is the reason why computers are implemented? Computers are invented now. Tell me, why sir? Why that computers are invented now? Tell me, what is the requirement why computers are provided? Any idea? Now tell me why computers are invented actually. To make our life easy, no, not for that. At that moment, at the initial stage of the computers, computers are invented because of like which one? To reduce man work. No. You reduce human work. No. All these answers are wrong. No. Of course, a little bit is right, but not like that. So maximum answer for this question is which one? To perform somewhat calculations, mathematical calculations purpose. Mathematical calculations purpose only that computers are invented actually. Somewhat then which calculations are somewhat complex for the human being, no, to calculate some calculations, that type of calculations, then first computer was implemented. Understand it now? First computer was nearly might be that was transferred by cranes only, not by human beings. No. Yeah, for mathematical purpose only, that computers were invented actually. Yeah, only mathematical purpose initially. later on by getting like which one requirements in outside, no, by seeing that new requirements, no, some R&D work is going on over this computer science. As part of that only, that computer science or computers might be utilized for different purposes, but initial requirement of computer science is like which one? Only calculations, only somewhat complex calculations purpose. That's the point here I'm telling you, right, sir? Now that is the purpose now, right? For mathematical calculations, in the sense like which one? Understand the requirement now. At that moment, that mathematical calculations, we require some calculations now. For that, we require to write some programs there. To write that programs, this type of basic and Fortran, this type of programming languages were provided, right, sir? Right, basically for calculator, simply speaking, more than calculator, but it is not exactly a computer science now at that moment. Yeah, exactly. Initially, at the only calculations purpose only, computers are invented maximum at the starting stage now. But later on, that computers are utilized for different purposes. Now, at present, how these computers are available is a part of our life. As a part of our life, in which way we are having 2 hands and 2 legs and 1 head. No, similarly, one computer with us. Similarly, one computer with us, along with our parts in our body. We can think of it. One more part is which one? Computer. That's it. People are having like this. Right, sir. Anyway, leave this one. But what about these structured programming languages? No, structured programming languages are not outdated programming languages, right? Which are utilized. These programming languages here we are able to utilize still, right, sir? No problem. Now, these programming languages, structured programming languages are not outdated programming languages. These programming languages are utilized still for our application requirements. At present application requirements, still we are able to utilize our at present application requirements. Still for at present application requirements. Observe this clearly. So structured programming languages are not which one can outdated programming languages. These programming languages are utilized still for at present, application requirements. Right, sir. For our right, sir. Now leave it now. Then what are the examples for it, sir? Now what are the examples here? We said Pascal and C programming language and some other programming languages. All these things are like which one? Structured programming languages. All these are like which one? Structured programming languages. This is point number one. Here we have to observe this clearly. Unstructured programming languages are outdated, but whereas structured programming languages are not outdated. Leave this one. Again, I'm giving one more point. Sir, observe this clearly. The names are giving much clarity for us. Names, one is unstructured, other one is like which one? Structured. The names are giving much clarity for us. What about this one? Listen carefully. Unstructured programming languages are not having proper structure to prepare applications. Unstructured programming languages are not having proper structure to prepare applications. They are not following any particular structure. See, one thing I'm telling there, to perform mathematical operations, to perform arithmetic calculations and all, what is the structure of the program we require now? As a matter of 2 lines or 3 lines or 4 lines or 5 lines of code. For the sake of 2 to 3 lines of code, which structure we are thinking about it now? It's a time-waste process if we are thinking about structure for this kind of small arithmetic calculations or mathematical operations. Right, sir? Because of that reason, unstructured programming languages are not having proper structure to prepare applications. But whereas structured programming languages are having proper structure. Structured programming languages are having proper structure to prepare applications. Right, sir. Why, sir? Why structure is required for our structured programming language? No. Why we recommended to go for structured programming languages here? No. Understand my point clear? Answers for this question is very clear. See, nowadays, if you want to achieve our application requirements, nowadays, if you want to achieve our application requirements, what we have to do there? Definitely, we are going to write lakhs and lakhs of code, lakhs and lakhs of lines of code here we have to write. Guys, all of you observe this clearly. Nowadays, if you want to go for like which one here, and if you want to achieve our application requirement nowadays, no, lakhs and lakhs of code here we have to write. That's the point here I'm telling to you. All of you observe this carefully. Lakhs and lakhs of code here we have to write now. Nowadays, if you want to achieve this coding part, is it clear to all of you what I'm telling to all of you guys? Right, sir. Guys, just wait a minute of time. Yeah, 1 minute wait. 1 minute wait, guys. Guys, wait 1 minute wait. Like, right, sir. Now, here, what is the second point here? I'm repeating to all of you guys. And unstructured programming languages are having proper structure to prepare our applications, whereas structured programming languages are having proper structure to prepare our applications. There is no structure for unstructured programming languages. There is a structure for which one? No, structured programming languages. Come on, guys, now tell me which one is better. Which one is better? Now tell me, no, which one is the recommended one for us? No, right? If you want to achieve our at present application requirement, lot of code we have to write. Lot of code here we have to write. Whenever we want to write more and more, lot of code. Definitely what we require, we require some structure, basic procedure we require, some structure we require. That's why here we have to go for like which one, like this is a structured programming languages. This is a point here I'm telling you. Right, sir, good. Then after that, then point number 3 here I'm telling you. Proper structure in the sense, just I'm giving clarity to you that there is a structure. For example, if you take C programming language, first of all, macros definition. Next one is a hash defined statements. Next one is a hash include statements. Next one is a global variables. Next one is a structure. Next one is like which one? User defined function. Now, next one is like which one? Main function. Is the proper structure is available or not? Understand my point clearly now. Next one is, if you take Java, in the case of Java, first comment section, import section. Like what next one get? First, second one is package section. Third one is import section. Next one is a classes and classes and interfaces section. Next one is main class section. There is a clear cut structure. So, but if you go for unstructured programming languages, no such type of structure. But if you come for this, these many, that means C programming language or Pascal or maybe COBOL or whatever it may be, they're having a clear cut structure to prepare our applications. Next one is, guys, I'm asking one more question to all of you. Please respond for my question. All of you, please respond for my question. No, my question would be, listen carefully. Do we have awareness on microprocessor subject? All of you are having awareness on microprocessor subject? Microprocessors, I think so. In our academics, those who completed BTech and what I'm telling you, MCA, BTech and MCA, if you complete it, definitely this subject might be existed. Third year, second semester, I think so. Nowadays, microprocessors. Yeah, I remember strongly. Yeah, microprocessors. Of course, it's not a prerequisite for Java. Example point of view I've taken, sir. Don't think it's a prerequisite for Java. And immediately people are asking to me, sir, is it mandatory to learn microprocessors now? Even not required to learn Java. Just casually I'm asking to So I remember strongly that microprocessors, the subject. Why? Because why I remember strongly. I was failed in that subject nearly 3 times in my BTech. 3 attempts I have taken to complete that subject. That's why I was very strong in that subject now. Same here. That's why I was very strong in that subject. Even last attempt also I got one stamp marks. Exactly 40 plus, I think so, 41 or 42, like that I got just only pass marks, and the last attempt also no. So I was very good in that exam. Why? Because I was very good in that paper. Which college you are now? Right, sir. Good. Very tough subject. Then you may feel tough, but if you write 3 to 4 times of the same subject, no, automatically that subject is very simple. Very simple. Yeah. Anyway, good, sir. Now good. In general, for microprocessors subject, lab is also existed. Am I right or not? At your semesters, along with the microprocessor subject theory, lab is also available. Practicals are also existed. Yeah, understand it. If we go for that, practicals might be, we are able to design some very good examples. 7 segmented display. Even if you're not aware, just leave it. Example wise, I'm telling you, 7 segmented display and traffic police signaling system. Like this, some kind of experiments we're able to do with that, like which one there, no, microprocessors, that subject, and with that lab exercises. Right, sir. Yeah, still I remember, sir. Why? Because 3 attempts I have written, sir. Even up to the end of my life, I am able to remember the subject. Yeah, that's fine. Leave it anyway. So then what happened? What happened? If you go for that lab exercises, no lab examples, if you go there in microprocessor subject, we are able to prepare the projects in 2 ways. One is by using kit, microprocessors kit, and second one is by using like which one, system. And system, some commands we are going to use. Guys, have you remembered that commands? Any of you remember that commands, microprocessors commands? 808, 8085 or 8086 or like this. Some command sets are available. Have you remembered that commands? At least I am telling to you. Right, sir. We can observe this clearly that commands are existed like which one? Add for addition operation. Yeah. Right. Sub for subtraction operation. Mul for multiplication. Div, div for division. Answer my point. Next one is a load. Then what next one? Store. These many commands are available. A set of commands are existed. Good. All of you understand this clearly. These commands, like which one here? Add. This is one command. Next one is like which one? Sub. This is another command. Next one is like which one? Mul. Next one is load. Another command. Next one is like which one here? Apart from this, no. Like this, different commands are available. Different commands are available. So these commands are called as mnemonic codes. These commands are called as mnemonic codes. Come on, guys. All of you understand this clearly now. These codes are like which one? Mnemonic codes. So the point what I'm telling you, unstructured programming languages are using mnemonic codes. Mnemonic codes. So mnemonic codes in the sense add, sub, mul, div, all these things. No, mnemonic codes. All of you understand this clearly now. Mnemonic codes. That's mnemonic codes. So these codes are low level representation, low level languages, low level representation or low level languages. Answer my point here. These codes are low level representations or low level languages. Answer my point here. So these are available in a very less number. These are available in very less number, and they will provide very less number of features. They will provide very less number of features to the applications. So useless max. So unstructured programming languages are using mnemonic codes. These codes are low level representation. These are available in a very less number, and they will provide very less number of features to the applications. This is what exactly the purpose of like which one? No, unstructured programming languages. Answer my point clearly now. What I'm telling to you clearly. Right, sir. Good. Then after that, what is that? The other point I'm telling you, structured programming languages are using like which features can know high level features, high level representation. Actually, structured programming languages are using high level syntaxes, and these are available in more number. These are available in more number, and they will provide more number of features. They will provide more number of features. Unstructured programming languages are using might be mnemonic codes. They are low level. They are available in very less number. They will provide less number of features. But structured programming languages are using high level syntaxes. No, these are available in more number, and they will provide more number of features. All of you understand it clearly now. So this is what exactly the meaning of like which one? No, unstructured and structured. Another difference can be understood. Good, sir. Next one. Guys, I'm asking one more question to all of you now. Tell me, do you have any awareness on go to statement? Any of you are having awareness on go to statement? Go to statement. Yes, most of the people are having awareness on go to statement. If you want to jump a flow of execution from current line to a particular line, of course in C programming language, it is not terminator, just transfer statement. If you want to transfer flow of execution from present in a section to some other line, there we have to go for like which one? Go to statement. Good. Point what I am telling to unstructured programming languages are using only go to statement to define flow of execution. To define flow, only go to statement they are using. Only one alternative. That's my point clearly now. Only one alternative, that only go to statement is used by that unstructured programming languages to define flow of execution. But if you observe the structured programming languages now, structured programming languages are having number of alternatives to define flow of execution. Not only a single go to, number of alternatives are available to define flow of execution. Come on guys, now tell me, can you tell me what are the various examples for this number of flow of executions now, flow controllers now? We can observe this C programming language. If we take for example, where go to is available anyway, along with this go to if is available, next one is else is available, next one is like which one, else if and all, next one is a switch is available, next one is loops are available like while loop, for loop, and what next one, do while loop now, next one is a break statement is available, next one is continue statement is available, then inside the functions maybe return statement is also available. All these things are come under like which one, no, flow controllers only. So these like structured programming languages are having number of alternatives to define flow of execution. That's because of that reason also structured programming languages are very good when compared with which one, unstructured programming languages. This is point number 4. We have to observe this clearly. Coming to the next point, sir. All of you have to carefully. Now coming to the next content. What about this next one? Yeah? Listen carefully. Guys, do you have any awareness on this functions of feature? Yeah, functions of feature. Do you have any statement in do you have any concept like functions? Do you aware about it? Yes, nowadays might be number of languages are using. Even in the case of this JavaScript also have it. In the case of JavaScript also we are able to use functions. Yeah, number of functions, number of programming languages are using functions. Understand my point now? There is such in really you don't know that functions concept. Come on guys, and might be you are coming to the Java, we are might be thinking about Java in the sense definitely you have minimum awareness on these functions. Yeah, methods of course, methods and functions both are almost all similar, no need to worry for that. Right, if you have awareness on JavaScript, might be here we are able to have like which one, no, as functions, content is available, JavaScript functions are also available if you know some scripting languages now. But anyway, leave it. Even if you're not having awareness on it, just some of you are aware about. Yes, in PLSQL also we have stored procedures. In PL/SQL also we are having like which one, stored procedures and functions. Yeah, there also it is available. Not only in the case of Java, not only in the case of C, not only in the case of like which one, PLSQL. Then almost all majority of the structured languages and majority of the object-oriented programming languages, definitely that concepts are available, but names may be different. In some situations we may call it as a procedure, in some other situation we may call it as like which one, function, in some other situations we may call it as which one, methods, but finally the concept is very same. Anyway, leave it, no problem. Then now tell me, what is the purpose of functions? What is the purpose of functions? Now tell me what advantage we are able to get from functions. I'm not talking about interface, just leave it. Interface are totally different. Now I'm asking to you, what is the advantage here we are able to get from these functions? That's my question. Say for example, sir, say for example, what I'm telling to you know, just simple, this is C code I'm telling to you know, right? Main, like which one, void main, I'm writing this one. Yes, right, reusability is an example. Now I'm telling that information to you. For example, I have a lines of code here. Now here I need to perform add operation here. This add operation may take, for example, 10 lines of code. Assume like this, 10 lines of code. Add operation here I have to perform. This add operation will take 10 lines of code. Then after completion of some other intersections, again here what I required now, add operation is required. After this sum, right sir, again. Next one is some other intersections are available. Again like which one can add operation, 10 lines of code. Again here like which one, some intersections here. Again I required add operation. Again some intersections, like again here what I required now, add operation. Now tell me now, in this example, to perform this add operation, how many lines of code here we have to write now? Here 10 lines of code, here 10 lines of code, here 10 lines of code, 10 lines now. But same operation, same lines of code, 5 times we repeated same 10 lines of code or not? 5 times we repeated same 10 lines of code or not? Guys, straightly I'm asking to you, how many lines of code is duplicated here in this program now? How many lines of code is duplicated here in this program now? 50 lines of code here we duplicated or not? That means 10 lines of code we duplicated 5 times or not? 10 lines of code here we duplicated 5 times or not? That means only 10 lines of code is useful. Remaining 40 lines of code is unnecessary. Remaining 40 lines of code is unnecessary. So for that purpose, what I'm telling you, I will define void add is a function where I will write like which one, required 10 lines of code here, I will write here. Whatever the 10 lines of code is required, that I will write, right, sir, lines of code. Then wherever we require the 10 lines of code that I add now, just remove the 10 lines of code, just simply call add function. That's it. Just we can call like which one, add function. Already that we defined here. Call that add. That's it. Now here also we have to remove like which one, that add 10 lines of code. Simply call add function. That means almost all what we removed here now, right, sir? Unnecessarily the duplicate code here we removed here. Duplicate code here we removed here. So define one time this function and use any number of times this function here. Now in this example, I'm using like which one? 5 times I'm calling this add function, but I define only one time. One time we define it, then 5 times like here we are using like which one? Add function here. That means 5 times here we are calling it. Now tell me anyway, whatever it may be. One time we define it, more than one time if you use that, then automatically we are able to get code reusability. Then automatically here we are able to get like which one? Code reusability. Finally, the advantage of these functions is which one? Code reusability is an advantage of functions. Please all of you listen carefully. Advantage of functions is like which one? Code reusability. Right, sir. Good. After completion of this, now try to understand it clearly. What I'm telling to you, unstructured programming languages are not having functions of future. So code reusability is not existed. Code reusability is not possible. Is not existed. Code reusability is not possible in unstructured programming languages. But what about the structured programming languages, sir? Structured programming languages are having functions of future. Structured programming languages are having functions of future. All of you recognize clearly now. Functions of future. So structured programming languages are having code reusability advantage. Code reusability. Right? Structured programming languages are able to provide, are able to provide code reusability. That's it, guys. Now this is the point here. What I'm telling to you clearly now. Right, sir. Good. This is what exactly the content here we can understand it now. Avish, what is this? Huh? Then why you are sending messages like this now? Yes, I can teach functions when the concepts are coming there, definitely. Then whatever the concepts which you are having inside the syllabus and everything I will discuss with you now. Then don't send like these messages now. Because I'm teaching the content with very good tempo. Then meanwhile, if you're sending like these messages, no concentration will be diverted, even for you also now. Right? Just I will give answers for you, but don't send continuously messages now. Okay, good. Come on, guys. Now observe this clearly. Now here, what exactly the point here I'm telling you, understand this clearly. So overall, these are the various differences here we identified between unstructured programming languages and structured programming languages. What are the differences between unstructured programming languages and structured programming languages? If you observe these differences, that very first point here, what I'm giving to you. Come on, guys. Now observe this clearly. Unstructured programming languages are outdated programming languages. Answer my point. These programming languages are which one? Outdated programming languages. These programming languages are not providing at present. They are not providing at present application requirements. But structured programming languages are not outdated programming languages. These programming languages are utilized still for our at present application requirements. Examples like for unstructured programming languages, BASIC and Fortran, and examples for the structured programming languages are Pascal and C and so on. Next one is after completion of this. Unstructured programming languages are not having proper structure to prepare applications, whereas structured programming languages are having proper structure to prepare applications. Next one, unstructured programming languages are using mnemonic codes. These codes are low-level representations and these are available in very less number and they will provide less number of features to the applications. But structured programming languages are using high-level syntaxes and these are available in more number and they will provide more number of features. Next one is unstructured programming languages are using only go-to statement to define flow of execution But whereas structured programming languages are having number of alternatives to define flow of executions, like which one? Like continuous statement or break statement or for loop, while loop, do while loop. Next one is like which one? Like if statements and switch. All these things are available. Unstructured programming languages are having and functions feature. They're not having functions of feature. So code reusability is not possible. But whereas structured programming languages are having functions of feature, so they're able to provide like which one? Code reusability. That's all. These are what exactly the differences here we can identify between like which one? Unstructured programming languages and structured programming languages. Guys, now tell me, all of you are getting clarity on this now? Yeah, high level syntaxes in the sense we can think of it as if, while, and all these things we are writing now. Then int I is equal to 10, int I is equal to 10. So all these things are like which one? Like high level syntaxes, right? Good, sir. Good. That's fine. Yes, code reusability in the sense one time if we declare the code that we can reuse it, that we can reuse any number of times. Define one time and we can reuse any number of times now. This is like which one? Code reusability. Right. Unstructured programming languages are not having functions concepts. Right, sir. Yes, Nehar Giri. Functions concept. Then that means like in the case of Java, if you know, methods concept. One time if we declare method, that we can reuse any number of times. But one time if I declare a function and method are both are same now at present. Think of it. So one time if you write, if you declare a list of code, might be a set of sections with a particular name. If you declare one time, then wherever we require that we are able to access it. That's the point, like which one? Reusability. That's my point. Right, sir. Good. But structured programming languages are having reusability, but unstructured programming languages are not having reusability. Why? Because functions concepts are not supported in unstructured programming languages, but in structured programming languages, and like which one here, functions concept is supported. That's why code reusability is available. Okay, sir. Now one point, almost gradually we are coming from unstructured programming languages to structured programming languages. Finally, now tell me, which programming language is the best now? Unstructured or structured? Unstructured programming languages or structured programming languages? Which programming language is the best now? Everybody has to give response for my question. Good. Structured programming language is best, is very good. Structured programming language is very good. Good, very clear. Now coming to the what are the differences between structured programming languages and object oriented programming languages? Yeah, this is our required point. This is our exact required point. Come on, guys, all of you understand it now. This is our required point. Everybody has to understand this. Why? Because now we are going to discuss about object orientation. So how object orientation is important when compared with the previous, that point here I'm telling you. Good. Right, so now listen, all of you listen carefully. Point number one, first direct point I'm telling you, now I'll ask one question to all of you guys. Listen carefully. Guys, all of you are having C programming language, at least minimum. I don't require like which one, the total C programming language. And for your kind information, C is not prerequisites for Java. C is not required to go for Java. Just casually, as part of your academics, you might be aware about that C programming language. That's why I'm asking there. I think all of you are having C programming language, right? Little bit is sufficient. Even little bit is also be sufficient. At least, have you heard about the name C? At least, do you know the name like C programming language? C, yeah, that's sufficient. Not required to go for more. Right, sir. Good. Yeah, I read C and basic, just basic C. Okay, no problem. Listen carefully. C programming language is available. Java is one of the programming language. Think of it, it's an object-oriented programming language. C programming language is a structured programming language. Okay, good. C is a structured programming language and Java is which one? Object-oriented programming language. Good. I'm asking one question to you. Listen carefully. So we know already bank applications in outside. Bank applications already you know. In bank applications, account is one of the entity, account and its operations. Can you tell me what are the various account related operations? Now tell me account operations. Can you tell me what exactly the account operations? Can you tell me? No, I don't require mobile bank and all this account related transactions. Account related operations. I'm telling you. Yes, I know. Most of the people are giving information like which one, deposit, withdraw, and transfer. All these things are related to transactions. Of course, in the transactions we are able to use the account. That's okay, good. That's okay, good. But understand it. And what I am telling there, account, by using account we can perform transactions as part of that withdrawal, deposit, transfer. That's okay. I'm not asking that. In general, if you want to go for this account operations are which one? Create account, search account, update account, delete account. Create account, update account, delete account, and find account. So these are basic operations for account. Then after that, we will use this account for our bank applications, maybe in the case of loan, maybe in the case of transactions, maybe in the case of some other. But basic operations of this account are which one? Creating account, updating account, and deleting an account. So these are like which one get basic operations are like which one? Account. With that we can understand it now. Now I'm giving one assignment to all of you. Try to understand it. Prepare a C program for account and its operations. The next level, prepare Java program for account and its operations. Just 2 minutes of time. Think of it. Prepare a C program for representing account and its operations. Prepare Java program for representing account and its operations. Just do this both. Then after completion of this, just compare both the implementations. Now just identify which implementations are simple and which implementations are very much difficult. Which implementations are simple and which implementations are very much difficult. Now try to analyze it. Now tell me your opinion. Right. Those who are not having C programming language, not having C program, just leave it, no problem. Those who know, just I'm giving clarity. All right. Now tell me, sir. Now tell me. Bank and its, that means account and its operations, I want to represent in C and I want to represent by using Java. Now tell me where difficulty is available and where simplicity is available. That's my question. Yeah, maybe in the point of less code or more code or maybe less number of and features or more, whatever it may be. Finally, you have to decide which programming language is best to represent account and its operations. Which programming language is the best for representing account and its operations. Right. Just say one programming language. Just I'm not asking about reasons. No. One programming language. C and Java. C or Java. Where we are able to see simplicity. That's it. That's my question. Obviously, everybody has to give answer is Java. Why, sir? Why you are giving Java is an answer? Now we are attending Java class. That's why you are giving Java answer. No? Now you are in front of me. Now we are in a Java session. That's why Java you are saying now. .NET people are saying no. Right, sir. Right. Yeah, a number of reasons are available, but finally, I'm telling to you one simple reason. Simple reason is like which one? C is, that means C in the sense structured programming languages are providing difficult approach to represent. Structured programming languages are providing difficult approach to represent or maybe to prepare applications or maybe to represent real world entities. To represent real world entities in the form of coding. Nothing, no need to think much about these real world entities and all these things, no? Right, no need to think much about it. But what I'm telling you, know, if you want to represent the outside environment in the form of coding part, our structured programming languages are providing very much difficult approach. It's totally difficult to represent real world entities in the form of coding part. That's one point here. But because of this reason only, we will go for like which one? Object orientation. But what I'm telling you, know, object oriented programming languages are providing, they are providing very much or maybe they are providing simplified approach to represent all real world entities in the form of coding part. Right, so that means the object oriented programming languages are providing very simplified approach to prepare applications, no? But structured programming languages are providing difficult approach to represent all real world entities in the form of coding part. So this is what exactly the meaning of what exactly the difference, main difference between structured programming languages and unstructured programming languages. Sorry, structured programming languages and object-oriented programming languages. So simply speaking, ease of development, that ease of design, ease of development is possible with object-oriented programming languages, but it is not possible with structured programming languages. This is the point here. What exactly the thing here I'm telling to you guys. Good, that's fine. Next one is after completion of this particular thing, no, right? This is one point. Then few more points are available. Just I want to discuss with you clearly. All of you listen carefully. Right. All of you listen carefully. Point number 2. Modularity is very good. Sorry, modularity is not good in structured programming languages, but modularity is very good. Modularity is very good in object-oriented programming languages. Right. I'll give clarity. Right. But time being, understand this title. No, understand this point here. Modularity is not good in structured programming languages. Modularity is very good in object-oriented programming languages. Right. Now tell me, sir, first of all, tell me guys, what is this module or modularity? What is this module and modularity? And any of you are having awareness on it? What is this module and modularity? Any of you are having awareness on it? Right, even you are not aware about, no problem. Just I will explain to you. Nothing, sir, nothing, very simple. Yeah, very simple. For example, if you go for companies now, client may give the huge requirement set. That the requirement set is a huge. And then what we are doing now, whenever huge requirement set is available, how we are going to start our implementation part? Come on, guys, I'm asking this question to you. How we are going to start implementation for this huge requirement? Directly on attempt, you want to start implementation for this total huge requirement? You want to provide solution for this huge requirement, you want to provide at a time? No. If you are trying to provide the total huge requirement implementation for at a time, it may not be possible to complete that. Definitely a number of issues will come. Then what we have to do? Just immediately that huge requirement will be divided into some parts, some logical units. That huge requirement is divided into some logical units. That logical units, for each and every logical unit, we will provide solution immediately. We'll provide solution for that logical individual units. Whenever we provided solution for all logical individual units, then we will combine all these solutions into a single. That single solution is acting as which one? Final solution, final implementation for our huge requirement set. So in this scenario, we are dividing the total task into, we are dividing the total requirement set into number of pieces, logical units. That each and every logical part, logical unit is called as which one? Module. That each and every logical unit is called as like which one? A module. Right? The small piece of code is called as which one? A module. Answer my point. So the process of dividing requirement set into number of pieces, the process of dividing the total requirement set into number of pieces is called as, that total process is called as which one? Modularization. The total process of dividing huge requirement into number of pieces is called as modularization. Each and every piece is called as which one? A module. This is what exactly the meaning of modularization and module. Yes, exactly. This principle is like which one there? Divide and conquer algorithm. Divide and conquer principle is available in a computer science, especially in algorithms now. So it follows the same thing. In other words, we may call it as Britishers rule. In other words, we may call it as which one? Britishers rule. So guys, do you know what is this Britishers rule? What is this Britishers rule? Do you have any awareness on it? Do you know that Britishers rule? Avish, you are staying at England now. You have to say your rule from your country. Right, sir. Yes, exactly. The Britishers rule is like which one? Divide and rule. Divide and rule. Divide and rule. That's it. Finally, get what advantage from each and every. Right, sir. Each and every one. So divide and ruling. This is the basic principle what Britishers are used to follow in general. Yes, sir, got my point or not? Right, sir. Anyway, then the divide and conquer and divide and rule both are same here. Just we can understand it. So to represent a module and to process that modules, to represent modules and to process that modules. So these object orientations are having somewhat environment when compared with structured programming languages. So because of that reason here, I'm telling to you clearly, modularity is not good in structured programming languages, but modularity is very good in the case of object-oriented programming language. And if we come down to the comparison between C and Java, in the case of Java, packages topic is available. In the case of Java, packages concept is available. So by that, we are able to get like which one? Very good modularization. But in the case of C, such kind of concepts are not available. That's why modularity is not much in the case of like which one? Structured programming languages. This is one reason, guys. This is one reason why we have to understand object orientation and is having very good modularization, and structured programming languages is having less modularization. So, all of you are getting clarity or not? Okay, guys, and just 2 points are discussed. No, anyway, it may take a lot of time to complete the remaining points. Few more points are available in these differences between these object-oriented programming languages and structured programming languages. So, what I am telling to all of you guys, and tomorrow I'll continue this continuation part at 6 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, I'll continue this content. No, so I'm requesting to all of you. Those who already completed language fundamentals, just you may leave from webinar. Anyway, I'm going to close it. I'm going to close now. But once again, within 5 minutes, I will reopen this webinar. Those who are attending yesterday demo class and today demo class, and what next one here? Previously, like which one here? No, 7:30 previously. Some people are attending there before 2 days back. Up to 2 days back, you attended there. All these people have to attend again within 5 minutes. You have to connect with the same webinar, right, sir? Understand it? Yes, what I'm telling you, know. So just we have to just anyway. Then I'll talk about these videos and all these things. No need to worry for that. So those who are attending today demo class, yesterday demo class, and previously those who attended 7:30 class, and all of you has to attend for today at 7:30. Within 5 minutes, I will come back again. I will shut down this webinar. Again, I will reopen that webinar. Guys, all of you are getting my point now? Right, sir. No issues, Patrick. No issues. Guys, all of you are getting clarity on it now? Right, sir. Right. Good. Just with the same link, whatever the link you are using now at present, with the same link, just we can attend within 5 minutes. I'll come for it. Ashwar, no. I'm not ignoring, but a lot of people are attending today's session. Yeah, then see, might be for some of the people, I'm unable to give answers there. But don't think like that. Every time we are sending the same type of message now. So everybody is equal, and for everybody, I have to be responsible. I'm accountable for everybody. Don't think like that. Okay, sir. Good. Yeah, class code I will give, sir. I will give class code. No need to worry for that. Even today also I'm not going to upload it, and tomorrow I'm going to upload all these things. No, right? And just within 5 minutes I'll connect those who require steps to prepare first application development. Today I want to start that. So at the 7:30, steps to prepare first application development. I want to start at 7:30. Just come for it. I will upload, sir. By today night I will upload this total, like what I'm telling you know, these notes. Yeah, same link. In the same link, just again try to attend for it. Then I will come back within 5 minutes. I will come back and I will discuss with you regarding the total process. Yeah, okay, fine. 5 to 10 minutes we can take it now. Then I will come back. Yeah, exactly at 7:30 I will start, sir. Okay, good. Just wait here. Those are required. Those are attending previous 7:30 batch, present and today and yesterday demo people. Those who are coming there, I will talk with you. Come at 7:30 now. 7:30. I will reconnect that. Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot.